Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an enterprise leader trying to navigate this massive, honestly kind of chaotic surge in AI investment right now, consider this your essential survival guide. We are living through an absolutely unprecedented capital boom. And today, we're going to break down the reality of what this actually means for your tech initiatives, your strategic planning, and most importantly, your bottom line. Let's get into it.
We're cutting straight through the FOMO today. We're going to cover the AI revenue gap, hype versus enterprise reality, impacts on corporate budgets, the risk to SMBs, and finally, strategies for AI resilience.
So to kick things off, we really need to ask the massive, macro-level question that's just hanging over the entire tech industry's obsession with AI infrastructure right now. I mean, we're seeing unimaginable sums of money being poured into data centers, power grids, custom silicon. But the fundamental question, the one that every single executive needs to be asking, is where exactly is the return on a $1 trillion investment? And hey, this isn't just some theoretical worry. Even the major banks that are literally financing this exact build-out, like Goldman Sachs, are publicly sounding the alarm. They've explicitly noted a large discrepancy between the capital expenditure on AI and the actual returns being generated. When the very people aggressively funding the infrastructure start publicly questioning the payoff, well, that's a massive signal that internal ROI analyses just aren't delivering the expected results. Which brings us to part one, the AI revenue gap. Just take a look at this number, $600 billion. According to a widely cited analysis by Sequoia Capital, that is what the AI industry needs to generate every single year just to justify the current breakneck pace of data center construction. To put that staggering figure into perspective for a second, that represents roughly 100% of the entire global software industry's revenue. We are essentially trying to clone the entire software economy overnight.
Now, the contrast here is pretty striking. You've got that $600 billion structural need, but as of mid-2025, OpenAI's annualized revenue sits at roughly $3.4 billion. And crucially, that revenue is still heavily dominated by those $20 a month consumer subscriptions. The big enterprise rollouts, the ones that are supposed to drive massive, scalable economic value, they're happening way slower than projected. So that leaves an order of magnitude, literally a $1 trillion gap to close over the next few years.
Now, before we hit the panic button, let me reassure you about something. The underlying technology of AI is absolutely real, and it is transformative. The closest historical parallel we have is the late 90s dot-com telecom boom. Back then, companies spent hundreds of billions laying fiber optic networks. And you know what? That fiber was truly revolutionary. It gave us the modern internet. But the timeline for making money off it? Completely flawed. A lot of the companies that actually laid those cables went bankrupt, long before the value was realized. We could very well see the exact same thing happen with today's AI data centers.
Moving on to part two, hype versus enterprise reality. When you look at the actual adoption curve, McKinsey data shows that a massive 70% of enterprises are still just sitting at the bottom in the exploration phase. They're running pilots, doing proofs of concept, that kind of thing. But as you move up the pyramid to actual structural competitive advantage and AI-native operations, there is a steep drop-off to just 2%. The gap between just playing around with AI and actually extracting transformative economic value from it, it's incredibly wide right now.
Let's look at part three, impacts on corporate budgets.
Global enterprise tech spending is projected to hit $5.26 trillion. But here's the catch. If AI fails to deliver fast returns, those corporate budgets are going to face immediate and severe ROI scrutiny. And this won't just impact pure-play AI vendors either. If a financial correction hits the broader software-as-a-service ecosystems in all your discretionary tech spending, they'll face severe budget compression. So you really have to ask yourself, is your organization prepared for an environment where literally every single dollar spent on tech is suddenly interrogated?
But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. There is actually a major opportunity here. If the bubble bursts, funding dries up for startups that don't have real revenue. And the hyperscalers, those tech giants building massive cloud infrastructures, they'll be forced to rationalize their headcount. The result? A massive flood of elite, highly skilled AI engineers entering the job market. This is going to normalize salaries and finally let everyday enterprises afford the talent they actually need. So paradoxically, a market correction will likely accelerate the practical, sustainable integration of AI into the broader economy.
Which leads us to part four, the risk to SMBs.
Small and medium businesses make up 44% of the U.S. GDP, and they are facing a completely different set of AI exposure risks.
Unlike huge enterprises doing custom builds, SMBs are heavily reliant on core platforms like Shopify, QuickBooks, and Salesforce. And right now, we are seeing this trend where software vendors are actively bundling completely unproven AI features into their platforms and then enforcing mandatory subscription price hikes to pay for it. If these AI features don't deliver immediate productivity gains, well, SMBs are just absorbing forced cost increases, which heavily squeezes their already razor-thin margins.
However, there is a silver lining here for SMBs too. If they can just weather this current, super expensive pioneering phase, a market correction is actually highly beneficial for them. Why? Because the massive overbuilding of AI infrastructure right now is going to lead to commoditization later. And that means dramatically reduced AI API costs and tools that are so accessible you won't need an army of expensive consultants to implement them. The long-term trend absolutely favors democratized access for smaller players.
Okay, Part 5, Strategies for AI Resilience. So here is the resilient framework you need to be thinking about right now. First, prioritize applications with demonstrable near-term ROI. Skip the long incubation projects for now. Second, avoid deep dependencies on a single vendor. If your vendor can't survive a funding drought, they might literally take your integrations down with them. And third, build optionality. Do whatever you can to avoid long-term, fixed commitments to specific infrastructure at today's absolute peak prices.
Tactically speaking, here's how you actually execute on that playbook. Choose cloud-based pay-as-you-go models overlocking into multi-year GPU cluster leases. Architecture systems from day one for cross-vendor portability. You really want to make sure your proprietary enterprise data isn't locked in somewhere. You should also be stress testing your business plans for a 50% revenue shortfall against your initial AI projections. Ultimately, the goal is to build internal AI competencies rather than relying entirely on outsourced, single-vendor solutions.
Maintaining agility in a highly volatile, capital-intensive market like this, it isn't just about saving money, it's about structural survival. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to take back to your planning sessions. If your primary AI vendor just vanished tomorrow, would your business keep running? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to reassess your strategic planning with these realities in mind.